Hello, hi, it's Jon Binnie here, your spiritual psychic mentor here in Scotland, and I'm delighted to take you through predictions for August, September, October, a little bit into November, and also to answer at least a couple of your questions that you've been kindly posting through the link in the pinned comment of this video on my website. So thank you for your questions. Okay, so as we always do, let's start before we connect with any of the spirits and beings across this planet and beyond. Let's first of all make sure we're nice and grounded and create a protective space. So to do so, please join me as we take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out what no longer serves your highest good, nice and loud. And from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light up through the top of your head, through the sky and through the stars, all the way up to the highest frequency and dimension, the brightest lights you can imagine, up in the universe. And there, connect up to the highest dimension of Source, the source of love. Remain connected into Source and extend your light cord down through the stars and sky, back down through the top of your head and into your heart once more. And now from the center of your heart, extend your cord of light downwards through the root of your spine and deep into the earth, all the way down until you reach the very core of Mother Earth. And there, connect in to Mother Gaia's crystalline heart. Remain connected to Gaia's heart as we send her so much love and extend your light cord back up through the layers of the planet, up through the root of your spine and into your heart once more. Together with the light of Source above and Mother Gaia below, expand out your golden bubble of protective light, using the light from the center of your heart to surround you about 2 meters out to each side, above and below, in front and behind. And set the intention that only energies and entities with your permission, your highest good, love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist within this space or within you. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. And into your safe space, invite in your spirit guides, your higher self, your ancestors, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia. And we ask at this time for their guidance, clearing and healing, protection, and assistance with the integration of today's messages. And through space and time, I also create a golden protective bubble around all of us engaging with today's video. As I do this, please take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth, nice and loud. I invite in my guides, my higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source and Gaia, the moon, Luna, and the sun, Sol, Ra energy. Okay, and I'd like to, first of all, begin with any messages from any of the beautiful souls that I have invited into this safe space regarding what's coming up for us in the short term over the coming days and weeks, especially through August, and as we approach into the end of Lionsgate 8-8. Okay, so the sun, Sol, this beautiful Ra energy is stepping forwards. And there's a release. There's a release already underway. A releasing of energy. And so Ra energy says, please do pay attention to the skies. There's a brightening of the sun. And this is part of a natural process. Each day in and out, if you pay attention to the sun, it's darker and lighter. And it depends on the solar activity and sunspots. And the sun says that there is a darkening and then a light. And that right now, so over the next 2 remaining days, and we're currently on the 5th of August. Okay, so two remaining days, which is interesting, up to 7, the 7th of August. Okay, and then there's a brief pause, and then a larger release. So there's a pause for a day and then a larger release just at the very end, this very tip of Lion's Gate. And so, and I love this. I love this idea from the sun, which is, it's reminded me of some of the, our beliefs about the Lion's Gate, and how the sun is saying a lot of the things that are in your heart and in your mind at this time are being solidified through this portal. And imagine yourself, packing your bag, your rucksack, or your handbag, or whatever you have. You're putting the things in that you want, and then you're about to step through your front door, and you're about to leave your home and step out into a beautiful world. And this energy just now, this release just now, is an energy of helping you gather all your things together and really reflect on all the things that you're grateful for, that you enjoy doing. I love doing these videos. Thank you. Thank you for all your views and comments. And so as you pack your bags and you prepare yourself, and really, check through all the things. Don't just put, all the rubbish in your metaphorical bags. It's an opportunity to perhaps create a gratitude list, or, say out loud. I have a mantra each morning that I say out loud of all the things that I love in my life that I'm grateful for. So I say, thank you for my wife, my family, my friends, my loved ones, my food, my water, my home, my camper van, my music. And then I also say thank you for my spirit guides and you guys, all my clients, and every living thing across this planet. So this is my gratitude list that I say out loud just before I start my meditation practice each morning. And so these are just examples of, you'll find your own way of, you might have a mood board, or you might have, a kind of vision statement of what you'd like in your life. Everything, all of us are different, and we all have different ways of kind of recording or reflecting on and accepting and expressing gratitude for the things that are joyful in our lives, that we're truly grateful for. This practice, especially through the next, so there was a 2-day mark, right? So the sun said 2 days, and then there's a brief reprieve, and then there's a bigger blast. And I love speaking dragon-like language, my dragon-like language. So this is very much from me. And the sun said, could I express the first blast that we're currently experiencing over the next 2 days, and then a further one right at the very end of Lion's Gate, through this expression of what will be a loud roar. So yes, of course, I can. So let's start with a roar that represents this current release of energy. Wonderful. And then I was also shown that, when how do you say this? It's a medical term, right? Is it, you can correct me in the comments. Is it quantize or quarterize? The quantize feels like a musical term, but it's where you effectively burn an area of the skin where there's a wound, and you want to help seal the skin together. And so this last roar was very much almost the welding. So it's like a sealing of the Lion's Gate, the completion of the Lion's Gate. And so this energy is much louder and a much greater roar. And so this is an expression, a vocalized expression of the energy that comes in at the very end of Lionsgate from the sun to earth. Thank you. Oh, and I've just realized I'm saying Ra. So I feel that I'm the voice of the son of Ra today. How beautiful, thank you. Perfect time for some water. Okay, and some of you have been asking a bit about what's going on across the world at this time. You've been asking your questions, definitely themes of different places, different locations, some of which I've been covering in previous videos. So, last video we were talking about Europe in particular, and the more questions that come from around the world, the more your area has a greater chance of it being represented in these questions and videos. So let me just ask if there's any other messages. We often get a message from Gaia or one of my spirit guides. So let's ask. So Gaia's message is, it's a little, she's saying, Jon, things haven't changed much. She said, from our last conversation, she said, you can feel this continued shift. It's happening now. And she's showing me August, and some of the graphs, they're seismic readings. For example, this we're in this period now of significant expression and release of energy. And let me see if there's anything new that she would like to report. And she says, yes, some more people are asking about Europe. And it's lovely. She's not lecturing me, but Guy is drawing me to you guys and saying, a lot of you are very intuitive. A lot of you that are watching this, you feel drawn to, this video and videos like this where other people are verbalizing their predictions and channeled messages and expressions of what they feel is going on in their area. And that this is a message to really help encourage you to continue to do so. So in the comments, if you feel something may or may not be coming for you in your area or in another area of the world, please do share it, because as you verbalize it, Gaia is saying it really helps her get a sense of, who's paying attention, who is interested in the earth health, the geological health of the planet, and the meteorological and the astrological aspects of Earth. Because she says, simply, there's a reason why many of you are feeling and asking questions about what's going on in Europe, because there are unexpected events that come. And I'm very curious, let me ask what these events are. And she's showing me closer to the south of France and Spain. So this is this is up towards the this is on the south side of these countries of France and Spain, offshore. So this must be the Mediterranean. And she's showing me. She keeps saying, north. So as kind of quite close to the shore. And she's showing some further, this is an earthquake, it's an earth tremor. And she's showing this quite unusual pattern she said our seismologist will pick up on interesting or unusual patterns in what will be, which will start with tremors. And she's showing me like short, sharp waveforms. So it's like I sound like a seagull. That's how our seagulls sound here in Scotland anyway. They say that seagulls say that when you're near them and they don't really like you. But let me ask what this means for, what is this, first of all, what is energy releasing? Do we have a sense of when? She's saying that for all the larger areas, so this she's saying that for energy that she can't fully release yet around the Pacific and then around the Atlantic, she says there will be some releases in unusual places. And she's said to me a few times about, the UK, for example, UK and Ireland experiencing these tremors, and she's showing me flutterings. She's saying the flutterings of energy. And this short start. Why do I do videos with these funny sounds? Okay, and what does this mean? Like, can you give us a sense? So this is an overflow of energy released into areas. She says she's also releasing energy. This is some of the anger energy and rage energy, or you could describe rage as anger in motion, anger being released. And she says this is to release the energy in land areas where it will have the least impact on humans. So this does feel low. She's showing me measures of 2 to 3. Unlike the big events that we saw, in Russia at 8.8, or close to Russia in 8.8, another. So yeah, about M2 to 3. So really quite small in comparison. And she says, this is to help. The reason that she brings forward this message at this time is the unusual nature of patterns will put people on high alert. People may be really worried about volcano activity. And just to say, this is especially, older and supposedly extinct volcanoes. I live in an area that has 5 extinct volcanoes from what we believe is millions of years ago. It's that feeling of like, how could these really ancient volcanoes have any activity? And yet, some people will be scared of this. And so this is a reassurance from Gaia to say, yes, do listen to your intuition, do watch the animals and the birds and plants and trees and insects. Keep an eye on the oceans and the seas. And she said, but also like pay attention to your own intuition and know that when you just feel something tremoring and releasing, that it's okay. It's okay for this to happen. And yeah, I'm forgetting if I've told you the time frame, but she's showing around mid. So this is just after the Lion's Gate, and it's around the middle couple of weeks of August. Let me just get my little calendar up. So it's not this week. This is okay. So this is from the week beginning Monday the 11th and Monday the 18th. Those 2 weeks she was showing me. Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to share across the world at this time? Yeah, she's just showing me the Pacific Ring of Fire and the activity around it. She says she's doing what she can to stabilize. She's showing me this whole giant Pacific plate, like sat, it's a balancing act, she says. And she says that what she's doing with the sun is, as the sun is releasing these big rah, these big bursts of energy, they, depending on the, she says, as the earth rotates around, and this includes within a day, as the earth is rotating, and different parts of the earth are facing the sun, this puts these solar winds, these resonances from these this energy released from the sun is putting a different pressure on different areas. So it's almost like, as the sun's pushing down on one side, it pushes down on the tectonic plates of the Pacific, like on the west, and lifts up the east, and then kind of makes its way across and pushes on the other side. She said it's that intense for her. She said that there is a continued conversation, a unity, how to describe it, a strong partnership between the sun and the earth. And they're doing their very best to not suppress energy, because that's as bad as it is having one massive cataclysm or a series of cataclysms. It's really to help. She's showing me, I need some props. She's showing me, imagine this water is boiling in a kettle. She's showing me that instead of all the steam being released out of one area, imagine there's steam flowing out. She's saying that she's allowing the lid of the Pacific tectonic plate to just dance on the top. So having a relatively balanced release of energy helps minimize the impact across Earth. And she said wherever she is, wherever you see larger bursts of activity, it's either where, and we heard this earlier, that she can target specific areas. We heard about things like underground bases and helping free people that are trapped in different forms of slavery. What we also hear is now from her is that sometimes she's not always getting it right. Sometimes she's not always able to focus energy releases through earthquakes or volcanoes, or to suppress them or balance them with the sun. So this is an imperfect, but very, it's nature, right? So it's a conscious, how to describe it? Controlled is the wrong word. Perhaps orchestrated. Orchestrated. It's a dance between the sun and the earth, releasing this energy. So she's saying this is a message specifically for August. She says where some of the most turbulent activities happening for us this year. And I'm asking for any specifics she can give, and she's showing me down towards Indonesia, off the east of Indonesia. And still we're getting this message about northeast, off the coast, northeast of Japan. So look out for these areas. She's showing me more about volcanoes and less about tsunamis, which is interesting. So it's perhaps another way of describing it is more above the water over the next couple of weeks in particular, and less beneath the water. And this feels in part helpful for, less concerns about tsunamis. Okay, and that's over the next couple of weeks, Gaia. She said now up to the 22nd, what is that? That's 2.5 to 3 weeks. Okay. I'm not used to working with dates. I should have a calendar up, working with dates with different beings. Okay. And any messages, just before we move on to a couple of your questions, any messages from my spirit guides or the Galactic Federation? Let's just ask. My spirit guide, Maya, she's been quiet today so far. She says, it's a perfect time for you to really continue to focus on your self-care and your self-love. keeping grounded, keeping walking at least every day barefoot on the grass, sand, mud, stone. And if you can't do that on the earth, then a grounding mat is helpful that you can plug into your electricity system at home, or just a meditation like we did at the start. So bringing your awareness to the earth. And she says, bring your awareness to the heart of Mother Earth, just as we did at the start. Both my ears are ringing really loudly in confirmation. Connecting with the heart of Earth really helps you feel that, when we're children and our mothers are doing things that we don't always understand, and yet there's a feeling, their behaviors are, perhaps we can't quite comprehend what they're doing, especially when we're really young, like, just 3, 4, 5 years old. And yet there's a trust, and you can tell from their energy that things are going, that whatever's happening, that your mother's doing this for your own good, for your highest good. There's that feeling that my spirit guide Maya is suggesting we all connect with on a daily basis with Mother Gaia by connecting into our heart, just like we did at the start of the meditation today. And you can also, you'll see linked to my video on the homepage of my website, the 14 Days Spirit Guide Meditation Challenge, which is free, and you can sign up for that and practice this each day also. So she says, do pay attention to the consciousness, to the heart of Mother Gaia. And she's saying, so Maya says, if you ever wonder why Jon is so calm and happy all the time, it's because he trusts Mother Gaia. And I do, of course I get a little bit scared of her because of Gaia, because I'm conscious of all the things we as a human race have done and continue to do to her. And so it always, makes me think in the back of my mind, will she just get really pissed off with us one day and just shake us off? And Gaia says, no, like that's not happening, or at least not right now, and not for the foreseeable future. She's absolutely, Mother Gaia is absolutely vested in our future and our survival and us flourishing. But she said she must shake off these lower vibrations. She must release this anger, and she must shake up and expose a lot more across the world at this time that's hidden from us. Okay. Anything else from my guide Maya? Oh, she's just talking a little bit about Lionsgate. She's saying, this is a time of activations for many people. And so this is why grounding is very helpful, because every time you connect into the earth, as well as what you can stand on the grass like I did this morning and just release from you anything that doesn't serve your highest good and drain it into the earth. And I imagine myself like a glass of water doing that, and just, emptying, like I'm a dirty glass of water, I'm just releasing it down through my hands and feet and the base of my spine into the earth. And Maya is also saying, why do they have such similar names? She says, because we're sisters, soul sisters, thank you. So my spirit guide Maya says, grounding each day allows you to be able to receive as well. And so some of the things that are very subtle and very gentle that we receive from the earth are a recognition that we're a child of earth, a recognition. It's a feeling of hugging. If you hug your own mother, or you hug a loved one, or if you hug a tree, or if you're hugging something, it's a two-way interaction. And what happens is that when you ground, when you're touching the earth, and this also, you can also do this touching trees, ask their permission first, just like you see in my recent videos of walking in woods and forests and talking with trees. Ask a tree's permission, give them a hug as well. And this is a really beautiful way of telling your body, and so you're telling all of your DNA, in particular, I'm here on Earth, and this is the current vibration of Earth. Because as well, in amongst all this purging of energy through earthquakes and volcanoes and tsunamis and weather events, we're also seeing an increase in vibration. The increase in vibration is immediate. Every time you release, almost instantaneous, your vibration rises. So it's, just like emptying a glass of heavy, dirty water. As soon as you empty it, and I won't do it because I'll make a mess, the glass gets lighter, and you feel happier and lighter. So this is something that's happening for our whole collective, especially through these big releases in August. And your soul remembers why it came. Your soul knows why you incarnated here in this life. Even if you as a human in your current incarnation haven't fully figured that out yet, or why you're here. Did you come to help? Did you come here to live out a life? All of the above. Why did you come here? And this reconnecting with Earth, my spirit guide Maya says, helps trigger activations within you. And these are, for many of us, especially when we're in service to others, these are our souls helping us remember the different metaphysical, energetic, psychic abilities that we have. And one of those I'm just being shown in my third eye is the third eye activation. And this is huge, right? A third eye activation is so powerful. I do feel that many of our different clairs, clairaudience, clairsentience, there's a long list of all the clairs, and all these different psychic abilities that our different chakras have, is that I feel that our third eyes are a way of us perceiving across sight, smell, touch, sound. They're all of our senses are channeled through this third eye through our pineal gland. And what's really beautiful about that is that Maya says that we will be able to perceive earth changes more easily for what they really are, the energy of them, even just by looking at some of the pictures, particularly when they're actual pictures. You might enjoy things like live streams. I mean, everything can be faked, right? But you might enjoy looking up, someone's live stream of a earthquake or a volcano and feeling into the energy of what's being released, that's being transmitted through that video, or in the area where you live and you're going out for your daily walk or you're driving to work or whatever you're doing, paying attention to the energy of the land, the ley lines, these flows of energy that you just imagine the energy, like where is it flowing beneath the ground, what directions, what color and frequency is it? As you connect in with this awareness that you have around you, Maya says that you'll start to gain a better understanding of why is that happening? Is this an angry, like shaking, like, like finally releasing something from the earth that's been there a long, long time? Is it a shake? Is it like grabbing, yourself or someone and like, wake up, wake up? Like, what is the energy of what's happening and going to happen in your area? And yes, it's turbulent. But you are also invited to feel into the why you feel this is happening, especially in your local areas. And this is why Gaia started by saying, for those of you that do have sensitivities, that you do have some sense of what's going on, please do share it with others. Just bring it up in conversation, or even just asking the question why, or sharing that you had a dream about something. These are all super helpful. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of questions before we finish today. To summarize, you enjoyed my robot voice. Okay, so I'm going to do Astro AI is going to read out a summary of your latest questions. So thank you for that. And so Astro AI says, Your form submissions include a variety of questions from users, mostly directed to Jon Binnie for potential discussion in his YouTube channel. The topics cover spiritual experiences, psychic phenomena, earth changes, personal well-being, and requests for guidance on meditation, healing, and energy work. Many users share personal stories to seek advice about dreams, past lives, metaphysical events. There is strong engagement. The users are expressing curiosity about global events, personal growth, and spiritual growth. If you need more details, please ask. I don't know if that impression is worse or better. But it's funny speaking in a different voice because at least it represents, a different view, and you can take that summary for, use your own discernment. Okay, so let's choose the next question. So I do this with my manually created, so just me doing an impersonation of a beat bop manual selection. Okay. Beep bop beep bop beep bop beep bop beep bop beep bop beep. Okay. So this question is from YouTube username 1METUKA or 1Metuka or 1Mituka. And the question is, I wonder about our negative fear cycles you mentioned in today's video. So this was from the 30th of July. I have done a lot of therapy, and I wonder if this is a positive contribution to negative karma. Interesting. So I think this means, so for example, if you break through some fear that you've been cycling through, like repeating again and again in your life, as you break through that, does it help, pay off karmic debt, for example, for maybe, more negative things you've done in the past? So let me open that question up to my spirit guides initially. My mantis, my galactic mantis spirit guide, Marita, has come forwards. And she doesn't have hands, she has claws, and she's showing me this. So she's just drawing this cycle, and she says, breaking fear cycles is really powerful. She says, fear cycles, so I'll come on to an example in a moment. She's saying that fear cycles have their own, almost like a toroidal field, like they create this field, this magnetism around them. So they negatively attract in more opportunities for things to be scared about. And this in part you could describe as a negative manifestation. So the more you worry about something happening and are fearful of something happening, the more likely this repetition of fear, this cycle of fear, will attract more of those things in. So for example, if you're scared of something bad happening in your neighborhood, then the more you worry about it, the more likely you are to attract more of those things, those bad things to happen in your neighborhood. Okay. Excuse me. And let's ask about karma. Wonderful. So Marita says, so yes, the answer is you do pay off, you do start to pay towards your own karma, karmic debts. So for example, you might have done some very negative things in this life. And I think you guys have asked for a whole video about karma, which I'll do at some point. But in simple terms, the more negative things you do, one thing could be overriding, forcing people to do things against their will. You will accrue a karmic debt, and it'll keep building up and building up. And at some point in this life or another life, you have to pay that off. And what happens is when you break through a fear cycle, it doesn't just overcome that single fear. There can sometimes you consciously, subconsciously, or with your soul and your ancestry have loaded a significant amount of karmic debt into that fear cycle. And what happens to that is it makes the fear even bigger, right? So for example, one of my biggest fears was coming out as a psychic. I'm psychic! And if you watched the video I did yesterday with MJ from Ulta Love, I described, September, October time of 2023, I was trained to be a meditation teacher, and we were meditating as a class every day for 5 days for about we did about 6 or so meditations each day. And at the end of every one, people would ask how you're doing, what was the experience like? And I would be crying, saying, I think I'm psychic. I am psychic. And like that evolved all the way through the week. And it was it was an in-person session, and it was very powerful for me to break through that ancestral wounds and break through that fear cycle. Because I was, I would say quantum energy healing and all these things, but I'd never use the word psychic in any of my literature or products or to describe myself. I've never had that on a business card, all these things. I'd always avoid that word. So that was a constant cycle. And as a result, I'd spend so much longer writing out and defining services and doing marketing and like, okay, how can I say all this without saying I'm psychic? Breaking through that fear cycle also helped pay off karmic debt for my ancestry, as well as in this life as well, especially all the times that perhaps I've been negative towards, psychics or ridiculed others in this life. So the short answer is yes, but the amount of actual repayment that, for your karma, for negative karma will totally depend on each person and each fear cycle that you face. But yeah, there are many reasons why breaking through fear cycles are great. And fear cycles are good because when you're scared of something, you know that lightly it's something that you can, that there's a fear, there's a message, there's a lesson within it, that when you face it, you'll break through into a beautiful new world beyond your current understanding and your constraints, just like me leaving my corporate job after 26 years in software engineering and coming here and doing this work for you guys. Okay, so thank you so much for your question. Let's do one more, and then I must go and walk my dog, Patch. He's not in here, so I can say walk, 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 and he can't hear me. Maybe he can telepathically. Okay, let's do some beep bops. Beep bop, beep bop, beep bop, beep bop, beep. Okay. Great, and this one is from Advance Evolve. Thank you for your question. Also on the 30th of July. And it says, I live on the east coast of Australia, which is really not too far away from the earthquake activity. I wonder if I'll be affected in any way. So the east coast of Australia. We did cover this in a previous video, but let's always ask for an update, right? So just asking my guides, Gaia, her team of elementals, Sun, Luna, the Moon, all the souls I invited into today's session. Yeah, the short answer is yes, there will be some effects. You will see. We heard about the Pacific Ocean and the Pacific tectonic plate. What was fascinating was the message I heard was, yes, but not quite yet. And I was like, what do you mean not quite yet? And Gaia said, well, yes, there's a lot of activity going on, as we heard. But for Eastern Australia, for example, it's not in August. And I'd never say never. This is just the message from Gaia. Her plan is not to have tsunamis or earthquake activity significantly affecting the east coast of Australia. However, into September, please do pay attention to what's coming your way. This is the first 2 weeks of September, she's saying. And I'm just, imagining that I'm Advance Evolve and that I'm living in Australia and the East Coast and asking, is there any more specific, I feel like I'm trying to say Pacific. Are there any specifics about the Pacific? She says, as much as possible, a lot of the energy that you see with the ring of fire around the outside of the Pacific tectonic plate is, she said, because Australia is heavily populated, Gaia wants to help divert a lot of the energy south into the Antarctic, which is quite fascinating. And she said, so you might not be expecting this, but yes, there will be earthquake activity within the first 2 weeks of September. That, in addition to the chaos of August and lots of activity around the outside of the Pacific tectonic plate, and balanced as much as possible and helping protect as many humans and living things as possible. It's the east coast of Australia where she was showing me this pulse, like this boom, like there's a term for it, right? It's like a kind of gloop and then release of energy off the east coast of Australia. The energy, although it would make a lot of sense for it just to resonate out from the epicenter with these waves that are these circles that are evenly balanced. She said a lot of the energy she's going to try and push down further towards the south into the Antarctic. She said that the effect it would have on the Antarctic is that it will begin to break up more of the ice there. And so she said you may see more ice flow making its way northwards from the Antarctic. So I think that's news. It's news to me. But yeah, so much of this depends on I'm just bringing up a map to give me a sense of what it feels like. But yeah, she's just saying there's lots of events happening across the earth. There's lots to be, lots of change coming. And we're already living it now. We're already living the August kind of rattling and shaking up. And she says, encourages all to connect more with Earth and to connect with the feeling of what Earth feels like in our area. We just had some 60-mile-an-hour plus winds here in Scotland. And it's still windy today. For me, it feels very releasing. It's very therapeutic. It's this stuck, blocked energy. Oh, and by the way, we're still not seeing any chemtrails spraying in the skies. It's been a few weeks now, nothing, not a single sign, which is fascinating after, years of being pummeling our skies with whatever they've been doing in the sky, painting our skies has completely stopped. And I feel a lot of that is to support what's happening now with our desire, our free will to fully receive our own activations, our superpowers, and allow the earth to go through its natural cycles without any form of, human or ET intervention that would stop us from continuing to evolve. So it's very much an open path for us. Okay. Well, I need to go walk my dog Patch. Thank you so much for coming along today. If you have questions, please look at the pinned comment and just click the link there. Just one question per person. If it's of a personal nature, in other words, you don't think it's just a generic question that would help many people, because that's really what that website page is for. If it's more personal and something about your life or what's going on, it's okay to ask about your area, even your street. But if it's just specific to you, perhaps you want to come along to our live streams, which are 2 hours every Monday and Thursday. Just look at the live page on my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's bring today's session to an end, thanking our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, and every soul that's participated in today's session, asking us all to remain in our individual protective bubbles as I close the shared space down and ask everyone to leave the shared space as I return it to Source, or never return here again. Please get plenty of rest. Drink as much water as it feels right for you. And if you've watched this whole video, please add this short phrase, and that is, my heart is connected to the heart of Mother Earth. My heart is connected to the heart of Mother Earth. My heart is connected to the heart of Mother Earth. And so it is. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a beautiful time. Look after yourselves. And remember, keep grounded, keep up your meditations, and look after each other. Oh, there's a nice orb. Sending so much love. Love you. Bye.